Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki
Jai.
Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumaray Pranamastu. We have to be grateful to Bhagwan for every opportunity that we get to sing his name with so many people. Bhagwan often said, singing the name makes one's brain sharp. All the students must know this. Singing the name of God, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan declared to me and to several others from time to time, when you sing the name of God, you are directly in contact with His presence. If a student who has to study, and what he studies he has to absorb, and then reproduce it, shape it to suit the question. So all the students, please know that Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar had declared from time to time to take gooseberry water, or raw gooseberry or gooseberry juice, which would help your concentration, which would give you good health. It's a tonic. It helps immunity. And what's more, it increases one's concentration. And chanting the name sharpens the brain. This is what he said. There are people who said chanting the name could make one dull, but then this beggar has found the truth. When you chant the name of God, your brain becomes sharp. So he declared, Nama for the mind, Analika, that is gooseberry, for the body. This is his Mahavakyam. So Nama also pleases God. Remember the saying that if you want to be happy in life, you have to make God happy. And to make God happy is to chant His name. So the Nama pleases God. And then it helps one's transformation. It sharpens the brain, it pleases God, and it transforms our nature into one of sattvic. Today is a holy, auspicious day, the day of Sri Sachidananda Swamiji's Jayanthi day. He was born in 1919. Bhagwan was born in 1918. 1 year difference between the two. It is with great love and veneration we remember Swami Sachidanandaji's visit to the ashram. It is he who laid the foundation stone for this ashram. I remember one or two incidents when he visited our ashram first time. That was in 94, February. He had come to lay the foundation stone for the ashram, and when he visited, he had gone to Ramanashram for supper prasad, and then he had, after his prasad, he took leave of all those people, and Bhagwan, with all of us, was waiting at Maulvi house veranda, opposite Ramanashram. It took a little more time than expected for Swamiji to come to meet Bhagwan. So when he came, he apologized to Bhagwan. He apologized to Yogi ji. Sorry, I have made you wait for 40 minutes nearly. And pat came the reply from Bhagwan, no, not just 40 minutes. This beggar has waited for you for 40 years. And then he burst into cascading laughter. He exploded into laughter. And then Bhagwan took Swamiji's hand in his, and until he left, he would not leave him. I remember another exchange between the two of them. Swamiji visited again in 96, September 1st, the Advent day of Bhagwan Raman Maharishi. Ramanashram was celebrating. He had come for that, and then he visited us. He visited Bhagwan, and together they gave Darshan in Swagat Mantap. It was a sight for gods. Two Mahatmas, so different from each other in looks and in their interaction with people. Bhagwan was like a lion, roaring with thunderous laughter. And Swamiji was sitting by his side with one hand of his held by Bhagwan. He was very quiet and he was smiling, a very quiet smile, and did not speak much. Bhagwan, after 40 years, is what he said. He reminded Swamiji of his visit to Anandashram, especially the day of initiation, Ram Nam initiation from Papa Ramdas. He recalled that Papa was giving initiation to a lady devotee, when Swamiji was standing there and Yogi Ramsuratkumar, at that time he was Ramsuratkumar, he felt a sudden prompting, sudden urge to go near Papa Ramdas, get initiated into Ramdham. But then he was a stranger to the place and it was only a little time since he arrived. So he was hesitant. He approached Swami Sachidananda and requested him that I want to get initiated by Papa Ramdas. Please tell him. Please initiate the gesture. Swami Sachidananda said, you have to approach him directly. You go and ask him. And after which, Bhagwan Ramsuratkumar of those days walked straight ahead, spoke to Papa Ramdas, begged him for initiation. And Papa Ramdas turned his face just for a fraction of a second, but then his face returned to Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan with a smile. And he said, in that fraction of a second, we do not know what Papa Ramdas found out. With a smile he said, sit down. He made him sit on the earth, then and there, and spoke this mantra, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 3 times, made him repeat it. We know all that story, but Bhagwan was referring to that, saying, this beggar approached Swamiji for help, but Swamiji said, you go straight yourself and ask. And then again he burst into laughter. And he laughed and laughed and laughed so much. That was a long time back when both of them were sadhaks. And they were trying their way to higher reaches. So when he went into this laughter, Swamiji smiled quietly and said, between Papa and any sadhak, I did not want to come. And what is more, Papa never liked anyone to come in the way. It must always be between the Guru and the devotee. Papa would not like my interference. And smiled. And Bhagwan once again went into that explosive laughter. And then Bhagwan said, all this happened in front of us, and I was sitting near, right at the feet of Bhagwan. Bhagwan said, Papa kept you in the ashram and chased this beggar out. And again went into thunderous laughter. Swamiji smiled. We watched them together. One was roaring like a lion. The other one was very quiet, spoke a word or two, and smiled, kept smiling, and both their hands were locked in each other's. They looked like one being. Swamiji said immediately, Papa made me the home minister and you the foreign minister. to suit his work. And again, there was cascading laughter from Bhagwan. And this time, Swamiji also joined. It was such a beautiful reply that we all kept laughing with them. Very interesting tidbits. And of course, Bhagwan would not leave him easily. Many of us could go near and prostrate to both the Mahatmas, the Gurubhais. When we read the life of Swami Sachidananda, we see some very remarkable traits in him and some teaching lessons from his sadhana days. One thing was, Swami Sachidananda ji says, that when he came to Anandashram, started to serve, he found out sadhana is not just sitting in meditation with closed eyes in one place. He found out it was constant remembrance of God, somehow or the other. Constant chanting of his name and doing service to people in the spirit of service to the Guru, dedicating every action to the Guru. And then he says, whenever he prostrated before Papa and Mataji, he did it in the spirit that he was prostrating before the embodiment of the ultimate truth. This was his bhava. When after 50 years of his service there in Anandashram, the Anandashram released a souvenir. And they had sent one copy to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan just took it in his hand and looked at Swami's photo, and then he gave it to me and said, Devaki, go to the last page. The back cover, he said. And there we saw Swamiji's folded hands folded in namaskar. Only the hands were there, and Swamiji had written. They say that what he had written, he just started to write, and he went on writing without deleting anything anywhere, and finally signed and gave. It was done in one stretch, without any deletion, without any correction. So Bhagwan made me read it again and again, and then he pointed out, you see how his hands are? They are folded in namaskar. This is how he served Papa all the time. With folded hands, he was serving all the visitors to Anandashram and dedicated them to Papa and Mataji. He did any service to any visitor with the bhava that he was doing it to Papa Mataji. Pujya Swamiji, when somebody approached and asked him, Swamiji, what is Advaita? What is Dvaita? What is Advaita? Swamiji, he gives it all in one simple sentence. Swami Sachidananda ji said, when you close your eyes and concentrate on the one divinity, it is Advaita. When you open your eyes and see his forms, his varied forms outside. And you move with them with love. It is Dvaita. Inside, when you concentrate, it is Advaitic sadhana. When you open your eyes and you interact with people, considering them as different forms of the same Lord, in the spirit of seva to the Lord, you serve them with love and smile. That is Dvaita. What a beautiful reply. He was always a man of few words. In fact, he had said in one place, for others it's very difficult to practice silence. For me, it was difficult to speak. And they are saying one or two incidents, like there was a man who visited Anandashram. He was a drunkard, hopeless drunkard. He came and begged Swami, please give me some, let me stay in the ashram so that I'll be able to give up this habit. Swamiji consented and he stayed on. But then he could not control, he returned to the habit. And then again after some time he appeared and begged Swami, please let me stay here, I'll be able to give up this time. And soon they found him drinking and then he went away. And he was coming again and again and again and pestering Swami to allow him, and Swami allowed every time because he wanted to give a chance to him, just in case he changes. What a great thing it would be. So every time, with patience, he gave him place to stay. This is Swamiji. Swami Sachidananda was an embodiment of humility. I believe if people landed, the visitors landed at 12 o'clock in the night, 1 o'clock, he would be there promptly and sometimes carry the luggage also for them. If they did not know him, they would let him. And they would come to know only the next day that he was the Swami in charge of the ashram. Such humility, such seva. I remember when I went to Anandashram after several years, the minute I entered, I felt such ananda. It is so explicit there, the ananda in the atmosphere. I instantly felt that was the presence of Papa Ramdas. And then I saw love. Everybody was pouring love. And then I felt the presence of Mataji Krishnabai. And when I saw the seva people were doing with such dedication and love, I felt the presence of Swami Sachidananda. They are there in their glorious presence, inspiring people, activating people into sadhana, into service. Swami Muktananda was all love. Swamini Chandrananda took care of us so well. Bhagwan often used to say that this ashram must become like Anandashram. I remember another incident in the life of Swami Sachidananda. I believe there was a visitor who wanted to rush to the station lest he should miss the train. So he said, Swamiji, I have to go, I have to rush to the station. Otherwise I may be late for the train. Pat came the reply from Swami Sachidananda, what if you are late for this train? You will be early for the next train. Just see, this was his attitude. If he should miss one train, it doesn't matter, we would be early for the next train. That's the way we should take things. And even if he used to have a headache, severe headaches, but he would never show it out. And despite all this physical discomfort, any time he was needed anywhere, he would promptly be there. And nobody would know how much he was suffering. So these are some of his glorious qualities that we have to imbibe ourselves. Every sadhak has to pick up all this and practice. Swami Sachidananda, on this special day, we shall offer our Ananta Koti Pranams, seeking his blessings for our own humility, our dedicated service to our Master, with love and smile. Bhagwan was very, very fond of him. And after Swamiji left also, he would ask me to keep a photograph of Sachidananda Swami always. Till the very end, I was carrying a photo of Swami Sachidananda. And Bhagwan would often ask for it, either hold it in his hand, would ask me, otherwise he would ask me to hold it, and he would look at it and keep on smoking. I felt Bhagwan was promoting Swamiji's health. It was a big establishment and he was running single-handed. So, you see Bhagwan and the bond between Bhagwan and Swami Sachidananda, they had taken videos of his visits both the times. You could see how loving they were to each other, and they were like one being together. And I remember once or twice, it was the time the wireless phone had come. The then trustee, Sri Mani, he brought it to Bhagwan. And then Bhagwan said, today is Sachidanandaji's birthday, Devaki. This beggar would like you to talk to him. And then he just sent me, because it was inside and it might not work well. So Bhagwan sent me outside the old Darshan hall and asked me to convey his pranams to Swami Sachidananda. So I had the fortune of talking to Swami Sachidananda on his holy birthday, conveyed Bhagwan's pranams and my own love and pranams to him. So let us remember the humility with which he did his service till the end. I remember once Bhagwan was having breakfast and all of a sudden he just left it and stood up and said, Devaki, let's go and see Annamalai Swami. Annamalai Swami was personal attendant to Sri Raman Bhagwan. And after some time, I do not know of his own accord or Raman Maharishi asked him, he left the ashram and he began to stay in one of those places, one of those kutiras in Palakottu. And then the time we went to see him, he was staying there next to Ramanashram. Some small building was there. So Bhagwan took me, we went in an auto, followed by another auto with Sri Mani, the then trustee of the ashram, and a few others. And there, after we prostrated to Annamalai Swami, Bhagwan asked him to say something to all of us. The ashram had just started. Then Annamalai Swami said with a smile, when you serve your master and the visitors, the devotees who visit the ashram, you must think that you are the lowest worker, a lowly worker. This must be your attitude. That will give you enough humility to serve. The visitors may be different. They may be arrogant and they may demand things, demand attention and things. But you have to be very humble. You have to be a lowly worker. He said, Kadai Uriyan. I am the last in the ashram. This must be our bhava, this must be our attitude to service. So let us remember all this. And of course, remembering will not do, we have to practice. And practicing will not do, we have to invoke the grace of Bhagwan, because without the accompaniment of grace, nothing can work. No matter how much we try. So, we have to try our effort, self-effort, supported by grace. For achievement of anything is necessary. And now we shall appeal to Bhagwan, Bhagwan who is here right in front of us, with all his power and grace, hand raised in incessant benediction. Bhagwan, today the world is what it is because it walked the path as per the dictates of the mind